Have you ever stumbled upon a patch of glowing mushrooms in the forest and wondered, how are they producing light? Or maybe you've seen pictures of mushrooms that glow different colors and thought, do mushrooms do that? It turns out that bioluminescent mushrooms are not only real, but some can even light up your night in a rainbow of colors. Bioluminescence is the production and emission of light by a living organism. And while we typically think of fireflies and jellyfish as glowing in the dark, more than 70% of all mushroom species exhibit some level of bioluminescence. These nutrients are typically sugars, and the mushrooms get their sugars by feeding off dead and decaying plants and animals on the forest floor. So if you were to pick one of these mushrooms up, it would feel warm to the touch. Just don't pick them up unless you want to get your hands a little dirty. Hot bioluminescence is pretty rare in mushrooms, but the ones that do have this ability can glow different colors, including yellow, green, and even red. But there's a problem. Unlike the cold bioluminescent mushrooms, these mushrooms do produce their own light. Scientists estimate that there are over 100 trillion bacteria in a single handful of soil. And instead of reflecting the light around them, they emit light when their cells convert chemical energy into light energy. This conversion takes place in the cell's mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell, which are responsible for converting food into energy for the cell. In bioluminescent mushrooms, the mitochondria have an extra special function. They also produce and release a molecule called luciferin. When the luciferin comes into contact with oxygen, it begins to decay. As it decays, it releases photons of light, which is what makes the mushrooms glow. Mushrooms can't move, so they have to wait for the dead stuff to get close enough to them for them to grow towards it and start feeding. This can take a long time, and in the meantime, the mushrooms need a way to survive. So instead of waiting around in the dark, mushrooms produce their own light. And by glowing, they're able to capture the attention of insects flying past in the darkness. And those insects will often carry the mushroom spores to new fruiting bodies, helping them spread and find more food. But why do mushrooms glow? Well, it's not to attract bugs like the fireflies, nor is it to camouflage from predators like the jellyfish. Instead, it's mostly an adaptation to help the mushrooms get more food. You see, mushrooms are made of cells, just like plants and animals. And just like our cells, they need nutrients to survive. But not all mushrooms glow the same way. Some, like the myxomycetes, have a cold bioluminescence. You might be familiar with these because they're often the subject of glowing mushroom photography. They don't actually emit much light on their own, but instead reflect the light around them. This gives them a ghostly, otherworldly appearance. Other mushrooms, like the Omphallotus olearius, have what's called hot bioluminescence. These bioluminescent reactions don't just give off light, they also give off heat. So the next time you're out in the forest, keep your eyes peeled for glowing mushrooms. Speaking of getting your hands dirty, let's get to work.